A couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I started having an idea that basically became this film. And I had already started working quite closely with Babawa at that point, and we threw around a lot of ideas, and this was one of the ones that I said, like, I've just got this idea for this supernatural horror film set in a mansion in Constantia about a domestic worker kind of liberating herself from the clutches of her madam. It was a kind of different story, but that was the central idea. And basically using that to make a horror film about inequality in South Africa, which is horrific, and yet we're so kind of benumbed to that we don't see as scary or horrific anymore.
To cut a long story short, I think Jenna had told me that she wanted to do a film that tackled the subject matter of domestic workers in South Africa, particularly stay-in domestic workers in South Africa. The more we spoke about the story, the more we realized that it was so much more family-driven, rather than just focusing on this idea of this woman taking over the space. There was just so many layers in the structure of the family and the trauma that the family has faced, particularly like between the mother and the daughter, and then obviously Tsidi's journey with wanting to ensure that her previous traumas do not fall on her child.
Slate 498, take one.
My name is Kotze, and I play a character called Tsidi, who is Mavis, the domestic worker in the house's daughter. She is a bit estranged from her mother, and at the beginning of the story she moves in because the grandmother had raised her. So the grandmother dies and she moves into the house because she's got nowhere else to go. And when she moves in, she discovers all manner of things.
The first time ubabalwa engixelela yena noJeni mina zange like davele ndathi ayisuka ayo angeke nikwazi uyenza mina le nto ndikwazi lapha ake nda-act aphi ngaphambili. Hayi into enza kutsho kubo like umuntu ufuna ukuzithembe wena uzithande nawe and ungasoloko umane usithi andikwazi akekho umuntu angakwazi ukuyenza into ungekayenzi uzomane usithi awukwazi yenze uzobona baba uzawukwazi nokuyenza lento. So ke nami ndizawuthi ke nakwabanye ke singasoloko sizibeka abo bantu ayisuka wethu ndimdala ayisuka wethu anikwazi ukwenza into ethile izame uzathi ukwazi uyenza eniphumelele uba wena uyafuna.
My name is Sanda Shandu. I am playing the role of Stuart. Stuart is adopted by the family of this house, but his biological mother is Mavis. I relate to him in the sense of being brought up around a lot of whiteness, going to a private school, and just coming to see a lot of reality and how the world perceives and how the world treats different people, and straight to it how the world sees and perceives people of color.
My character is Winnie. My character is basically like me. She loves the house, and she always asks her mother why does she not like the house, but her mother doesn't respond. I think she doesn't like the house because of memories, because she had bad memories when she was young.
Working in the space, the house has its own character, as you'll see in the film. Things happen differently in here, and I guess the essence of it's got that old school vibe.
My name's Amanda Manyache. I am a private chef, and I'm here to feed everybody.
My name is Lukanyisa Kumalo. On set, I'm a chef, also a cleaner.
My name is Luba, and it's short for Lubabalo, and I'm the sound recordist.
My name is Lebu Ramkwena, and I am Kamva's au pair.
So with low budget filmmaking, the approach I usually take is like, I'll obviously have a story that I care very much about, but I have a kind of production brain that's thinking at the same time that things to myself, what kind of film can I actually make? And as with High Fantasy, which was one of my previous films, I thought to myself, like, what do I have access to as a white South African woman in this country? And at the time I thought, okay, I could probably get access to a farm because, many white people have access to farms. If I just ask around and ask nicely enough, I'll probably get one. So I was lucky enough in that case to do that. And then with this one, I thought, well, low budget film, maybe one location, and it should be a location that has a lot of character. So why don't I just set a film in one really big house, and then maybe everyone can stay together and we can just kind of workshop the film in that space.
Like creating a space of work where people can be themselves and give their all to it. So that's been the highlight for me, and one of the things that I've always wanted to be able to do is to create a space and a work environment where people don't have to come into a space and conform to that space, but rather just come into a space and be and give what they can. And I think we've achieved that pretty well. So I was saying to her, next time we make a film, girl, we have to get another house.
It's sort of been a process over a number of years of, trying to do things the conventional way, like I was taught to do it at film school, and finding it just feeling very wrong and it not feeling natural, not just in the end result, but in the process of having to communicate with actors on set and getting them to say things and do things and stand there. It just that whole process just really felt wrong to me. And at the same time I was kind of thinking about that, I started watching the films of a director called Mike Lee, whose process is actually completely different to sort of the way we work now, and he would probably be horrified if he knew that he's a reference of mine. But I remember watching his films, and even though he doesn't use improvisation in his films, he uses it a lot in creating dialogue, and I was just so blown away by what he was able to create because he collaborated with his actors and he brought in other people's life experience other than just his own as an auteur. And so he's very much, the author of his works, but at the same time, there's just no way he could do that on his own, I don't think. And he needs other actors and other inputs to do that. So I just found that very inspiring, and especially as a white South African making films here and wanting to not make films just about people like me, I just realized I was kidding myself if I thought I knew everything. I just didn't. And the only way I was ever going to do anything that would maybe even approached authenticity or approached something real was if I admitted that to myself and to other people and invited other people to take on some more, take more ownership of the roles and the characters that they were playing.
In terms of the film process, I haven't quite worked like this before. And I think what I've learned from improv is just to get out of your head, It's been quite an interesting process because I hold scripts so dearly, that's home to me. This process has opened my eyes to another way of making a film, and Jenna is so accommodating and so considerate. I love that she really pushes us to try different things. She's not stuck in one way. So that at least is a relief for me, thinking that, if I'm improvising, I need to find something and then stick to it. She just says, all right, we found that, all right, let's do something else, which leaves an actor very comfortable in trying a lot.
It was very easy for me personally to relate to TD's journey more than anything. And as we started unpacking the story, unpacking the characters, it felt more natural to rather do it from a point of view of TD. And it felt more relevant to where we are, as a people, as a country, etc. And this idea of this young woman who's just got her own struggles, who's somewhat been given better opportunities than what her mother has been, but also finds herself with those so-called better opportunities, also just finds herself feeling like she's falling into the same trap. It's like there's just absolutely no way of escaping the cycle. And then also trying not to pass that on to her child, but then also feeling like it's impossible. So this, it's a conversation we have a lot where as much as we've been given better opportunities, as much as it's a different time, you just get to a point where it just starts feeling like nothing has changed. You start realizing that no, not much has changed. We may have taken a bit of a step forward, but we all still feel like we are in servitude of this hectic past, that we have experienced in this country.
We get told to get over the past, everything that happened, apartheid is in the past and all those injustices are in the past. Yes, they did happen in the past. However, we still today feel the effects of it, you know. And this story, although fiction, it shows some of the effects of that system.
We were really lucky, Babawa and I, that we found co-producers who also believed in this really crazy idea, because when I first started making films like this, like, no one would give me the time of day, understandably, because you're basically saying, I want to make a movie, but I'm not going to show you a script. I'm just going to tell you the story, and like, you decide now if you like it or not, and there's going to be nothing else to go on. And understandably, people are very nervous about that. The way I look at it is like, just because you wrote a script, there's no guarantee that it's going to be like that. You know, I've just kind of learned that the hard way. So I don't really see it as any more or less risky. But I was just really, really lucky that I had a long-standing relationship with Sam Jennings at Causeway Films in Australia, who I'd known since I was like just starting out in the film industry. Yeah, just really lucky that she like believed in me. And then when I kind of sent her this idea, she was like, cool, like, let's do it. Like, me and my business partner, we think it's a cool story and we believe in you. And I really don't ever like underestimate how important that is, because I've been said no to and like undermined a lot like throughout my career. And when someone says like, yes, like, we want to help you, like, we believe in you, and we think that this project is not just an important story, but we think it's a story that will get seen and we believe in it, it's like, it means a lot to me.
If you put enough into your story, that's enough production value as far as I'm concerned, is the story, the content of the story. And then everything else comes after, and then you can make do with what you have. And I think that's what has been the case for this one. And it's been such an honor to be able to just apply myself and also see other people applying themselves like authentically while we're learning, while we're growing. It's been, yeah.